Peace and blessings, y'all. This story is absolutely disgusting. Michigan woman leaves her 3 children alone for 4 to 5 years in a house by themselves. When I show y'all the video of how disgusting this house was, deplorable, man. I'm so sick of you ghetto hood ratchet bitches. I swear to God, man. Even the girl that was just out partying, her kids froze to death in Detroit, didn't even have enough common sense to take her kids and drop them off to a fire station, a hospital, or something. Just let them die. They just froze to death in the freaking car. I'm tired of it, man. My mama worked hard. She was a single mama. The last of the real women, them women from the 60s. You dig? You new women, y'all don't need to have no kids, man. Y'all don't need to have no kids. You can't take care of no kids, man. And the system, everybody failed these kids. They wasn't in school. Nobody checking on them. The grandparent, you ain't seen your grandkids in 4 to 5 years. You ain't wondering where they at. The dad was incarcerated. Typical, right? Gets out of prison. Petitions to get his kids. You got to go to child support. You know, all that child support crap is strictly for the females. It does not unify the families. It actually destroys families. But that's another topic. They deny him the petition for him to get his kids. He was trying to get his kids. She wouldn't let him see him. You know how women be. If you ain't with me, they hold the damn kids hostages. You know how that go, right? They say when they went to go get these kids, man, out of this house, the bathtub was full of crap, boo-boo. They said the kids' toenails were so long, they couldn't even walk. The baby toenails so long, they couldn't even fucking walk. They didn't even know how to use hygiene products. They didn't even know how to use deodorant and toothpaste. They had to be instructed how to use them, man. Come on, man. But meanwhile, you go look at this hood rat bitch. She was on, had her weave, all the weaves and all that crap on her Facebook, right? Nobody checked on these babies, man. 4 to 5 years, man. Man, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm sick of it, bro. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. They placed her bail at 200. I believe it was $250 million. She ain't never getting out. I hope they get this bitch life. Shout out to that judge who did that. $250 million is her bond. She ain't getting out. Did those babies up, man. And shame on you goddamn daddies too, man. Shout out to the dad that was trying to get his child. But even the other dad with the 2 froze to death in Detroit, he talking about something. She called me. I didn't know she was calling me because she was in trouble or to come get him. It don't matter. You fucking goofy. She calling you about your kids. Go see about your kids. Go get your kids, man. Yo, this is crazy, man. This story is crazy. I'm pissed, bro. I'm pissed. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, man. We bring you real content over here. All right? No anonymity podcast. Like, share, subscribe this video, man. All right? I'm out. Peace.
In the case of 3 Michigan children abandoned by their mother, police say, and left to fend for themselves for years. Look at this. We now got mom's mugshot. This is 34-year-old Kelli Bryant. She is the accused, waking up behind bars this morning, accused of 3 counts of first-degree child abuse, looking at life in prison if she is convicted. Officers found the children, siblings ages 15, 13, and 12, an older boy and 2 younger girls, when the landlord asked for a welfare check. Look at these pictures. So the landlord called attention to the police for the welfare check because Bryant stopped paying her rent in October.
The defendant instructed the kids that they were not to answer the door or leave the house. All 3 children expressed fear about what their mother's response would be if they left the home. Defendant concealed the children from family and friends and lied about who was caring for the kids and their whereabouts.
It's believed that the children had been living like that for 4 years. Can you imagine not being allowed to leave the house? The mother allegedly put fear in them, fear. If they would have left that house, of what would have happened to them. So now we're wondering, what's mom?
All 3 children expressed fear about what their mother's response would be if they left the home.
They didn't know what was going on with the kids. They had been told by her that somebody else was babysitting the children.
The children's bodies and clothing were covered in feces, and the girls had difficulty physically walking outside of the residence.
She is not to have any contact with these children by family members, third-party agents, or friends.
I want to show you some images from inside a house in Michigan. Take a look. This is from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. Look at this absolute mess. And there are things that are so disturbing and disgusting that they're blurred out in some of these photos. And this looks like it's a bathroom of sorts. Let me show you another photo. Again, from inside a home. Now, this is what you need to think about when you look at these pictures. There are 3 young children living alone in this home for years. Like young children, trying to figure things out and somehow surviving through this. Take a look at the next photo. Here's a bathtub. You don't want to know what's in that bathtub. This is a story that will make you absolutely cry the more you learn about what happened here. So let's get some more information. Joining me, the man overseeing this investigation, Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard. Sheriff, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Am I correct that you have 3 young children over the course of years that are living alone in this home, never leaving the house?
Absolutely correct. The 2 young girls never left the house the whole time. The young boy, and this will tear at your heart even more, left twice for mere moments, once to go to the mailbox and once because he wanted to go out and feel what the grass felt like.
As we look at the conditions inside, everyone's wondering, how did they survive this? How did they eat? Where did they sleep? How did they bathe? How would you describe what these children went through, and how many years are we talking about here?
Yeah, so a lot of those things you talk about, how they bathed and how they did hygiene activities, the answer is sadly they didn't. Their toenails were so long when we recovered them that they had difficulty walking outside of the house. We don't believe any hygiene products had been dropped off to the house literally for years. The toilet and the bathtub were non-functional from trash and feces. And they didn't even know how to use hygiene products like a toothbrush. They had to be instructed when we had them at the hospital. So thank God kids are resilient when they're little and young, and they manage to survive. But it was only, I think, by the grace of God to get through this torturous kind of situation. Food was dropped off on an irregular basis on the front porch. They didn't have contact with the outside world or adults for love, for education, for guidance, for anything.
Did they have any form of communication or insight into the outside world, like what was out there?
They had a television, so they were spending a lot of time on television. They had no schooling going on. So, part of the process going forward will be to determine not only their physical health, but their mental health and their educational level. Where are they? Since they've been, in this stasis, if you will, going all the way back to COVID years, where they haven't had any educational instruction. So more than likely they fell backwards. And that's all going to be part of the undertaking to figure out exactly what has to be done to remediate that and help them get on a better path.
And where was mom and dad?
So for a time, Dad was incarcerated. And when he got out at some point, he petitioned the court to have visitation of the children. She contested it. And finally, a consent agreement was entered a couple years ago, but she still was not allowing him visitation. So he was not in the picture. She was, as I said, occasionally dropping food or having it delivered by like an Instacart or other folks. So she had no contact with the girls and only limited contact via phone to the young boy.
Is there any indication as to why this happened?
Yeah, I don't think any answer would ever make any of us feel any better about it, because how could you? But, nothing that makes any sense to us at this point.
We all knew she was a bad parent, but I don't think nobody really realized this was going on.
Kelli Bryant is the former sister-in-law to 34-year-old Kelli Bryant, now facing child abuse charges after investigators say they found 3 of her kids living alone in squalor for several years at this Pontiac townhouse on Lydia Lane. Charlene has not been in contact in years and has loads of questions now.
I just don't know how the family don't know when they were so close.
Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald charged Kelli Bryant with 3 counts of child abuse in the first degree, which could mean life in prison if convicted. All of this after police say they found 3 of Bryant's 4 kids, a 15-year-old boy and his 2 sisters, ages 12 and 13, living in horrific conditions.
Her daughters were hiding in a bathroom that was filled with feces, piles of trash, and completely non-functional, while her son was hiding in another room. Police were astonished to find anyone in the location because it appeared to be uninhabitable, with piles of garbage and refuse several feet high, including large amounts of human excrement.
The prosecutor says Bryant lived at the home with all 4 kids back in 2019, but later moved out, leaving 3 of her children abandoned while one of the kids went to live with their dad. Detectives say the landlord called police to the home, worried for Bryant's welfare after not getting a rent payment since last October. That's when the kids were found, shaken, scared, and covered in feces, according to the prosecutor.
Honestly, I thought the grandmother was taking care of the children.
That's the last you heard.
Yeah, that's the last. You went 4 or 5 years without seeing your grandchildren. There was no questions.
We stopped by the Pontiac home of Bryant's extended family, where the police eventually took the kids. We wanted to talk to the adults. Hi, how are you? No, sir, no comment. Is there anything you'd like to say, sir? No comment given there. We also searched Bryant's Facebook page, which was easy to find and not set to private. Her content shows her modeling various outfits for the camera.
She's going to claim she couldn't afford to take care of her kids, but you got your hair done, you got your nails done, you got new clothes on all your pictures. Come on now.
What do you think should happen at this point?
She needs to go to prison and never see her kids again. Them kids need to go to someone that's going to take care of them.